What's up, everyone? It's your boy NS97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome everyone to Joliet, Illinois, and Chicagoland Speedway, under the lights yet again in the JBL Cup Series, and we are here for race number 9, first race after the All-Star race, and for the McDonald's 400. I'm Nathan Stapleton, and alongside me is Alex Graham, and another mile and a half. Last time you were up in the booth was at Las Vegas, and we saw the outside lane be very dominant, but it ended up being a very good one. And John Amos got the win. John Amos, ever since then, has been struggling 28th in points, and Chicagoland is a wild racetrack. What do you think we might see here tonight?
I think we're going to see something kind of similar. I think that outside lane is generally pretty dominant here, but any passes that will be made are going to be made on that inside lane here. And, at times, both lanes can be kind of equal. So it's going to be a fun race. This is one of the best mile-and-a-half racetracks that we have on the circuit, and definitely excited to see who will get it done here in this McDonald's 400.
Yeah, definitely. In the past, we've had 2 races here. This year, only 1, but there's some new rumblings about maybe a second race for Chicagoland. If you saw that in the Discord, then you know. But we just have to wait and see. Chicagoland, a very good racetrack here for the JBL Cup Series. First time since season number 2 that we are running the high downforce package with low downforce, high speed. Last time we were here was high downforce and low speed with 550 package. So for the first time since season 2, these guys are actually going to be driving the colors, wheeling them around here at Chicagoland, off the gas, on them off the throttle, and it's going to be very exciting what happens here at this very good racetrack for a mile and a half standards. Last time out at Charlotte, the point leader, Jordan Stout, finally got his first win on the season. And speaking of the points, here are the points. Jordan Stout has had an incredible rookie season. He has 4 top 5s in 8 races so far, and he has a 41-point lead over Richard Pinot in second. Third is Dale Campbell, 43 points back. Fourth is Benny Watson, 55 points back. Fifth is Colin Copley, who's having a really good rookie season as well, 64 points back. Zidell in 6th, 66 points back. Josh Ramson in 7th, 75 points back. Logan Williams, who got third in the 600, gained 10 spots and points, and then he just recently won the All-Star race. You can see season 5 reserve. So Logan Williams having a good couple of races. He's in 8th, 90 points back. And then tied for 9th and 10th is Memphis Fisher and Scott Upton, 92 points back. And then Crampton, he's 5 points outside of the top 10. He will get the first wildcard spot, and then the second wildcard spot will go to Wyatt Walker with 1 win so far this season. And we are halfway through the season, 8 races down, 7 races to go here in the JBL Cup Series season number 4, and we are inching closer halfway through the regular season, halfway until the season 4 chase. And it is Owen Miles, who's 24th in points, and he's starting to get some momentum here in the JBL Cup Series, and he starts on pole for the first time this season. And alongside is Mitchell Collins, Trent Green, the only uncharted driver that's won season back at Phoenix, starts third, and Angel Rivera, who was the early season point leader, starts 4th. Dale Campbell in 5th, and Trey Smith in 6th. Scott Upton in 7th. Chris Mills in 8th. And running out the top 10 will be the number 3 of Eric Monaco and the 38 of Tyreek Hartman. So 67 laps, 2 rounds of pit stops here tonight. Alex, is a crazy racetrack. Who do you think will win the McDonald's 400 at Chicagoland Speedway?
Well, all the way back in 2017, the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, there's a battle between Jesse Turner and one certain driver, Derek Hamill, for the win. Turner got the best of Hamill on that race. I think Hamill is going to get some redemption from that here tonight. Starting in the 5th position, a great place to start, and I think he'll get that Chicagoland race victory here in this McDonald's 400.
Hamill's been fast all season. He's had a couple strong races where he could have won, but he doesn't have a race victory yet. Pace car on pit road with an Owen Miles and Mitchell Collins leads us to the green. We have points racing once again in the JBL Cup Series. The McDonald's 400 is green at Chicagoland Speedway. Angel O'Bea making an incredibly dangerous 3-wide move through the middle, 3-wide through a lot of the field, but all Miles and Transqueen open up to a early lead up front, and you can see the mess behind him.
Yeah, those top two guys are really pulled away there, and Angel Oliveira racing a lot like Ross Chastain in that one machine there to start off. Hamill way off the course right there, and the 22 almost got sent up into the wall, but they keep it together. Here comes the 6 machine. At least I believe that is the 6 machine there. Scott Upton, they're moving to the inside. They're up to 4th now, but it's still a mess behind them. And, you know, once they get that all sorted out and they can be single file, whoa, never mind. They may not throw a yellow for this. The 77's at the back of the field there, and Memphis Fisher's going to get back going, so we're going to remain green.
No caution, they were full wide back there, and I saw that, and around went Memphis Fisher. Hopefully these guys can settle back down, but a crazy start, and Scott Upton, he's had a really good season. He's won 2 out of the last 4 points paying races, and he's all the way up to 4th. And for RFK, they've won, if you want to get technical, 3 out of the last 5 races with Logan Williams winning the All-Star race. So RFK, very strong start, and Ford as a whole has been very dominant. Only 1 race win for Chevy, and that came from John Andrews, and then Toyota only has 1 race victory, and that came from Wyatt Walker all the way at the start of the season. So Ford's been very dominant, but Owen Miles out front early on here at Chicagoland, and Transqueen in 2nd, O'Bale in 3rd, the early season point leader. Upton in 4th, Hamill back up to 5th, and we got some good racing here for sits between some liquid racing teammates.
Yeah, Trey Smith there in the 51 moving to the inside, and you got the 3 on that outside lane. And then you also have the 15 of Chris Reynolds kind of losing some ground on that inside lane, and we're kind of already seeing that outside lane be the place you want to be. You see Scott Upton, though, they're trying to make the inside lane the work there on the 1 machine of Angel Oliveira. And they're going to get it to work, and they're going to bring Derek Hamill with them as well on that 47. And Hamill now on that inside lane going to try to make it work on the 1.
And Scott Upton, he started the season off on the wrong side of the bed, I guess you can say. You see, he was middle of the pack in points, but ever since Richmond, he's had some really good ones. When Richmond and Talladega, and when he hasn't won, he's still gone top 5, top 10 speed, and that's why he's top 10 in points now. And Upton, all the way up to 3rd, and maybe he might get his 3rd win of the season tonight. And here comes Fisher. He's about to be a lap down early on, and Transqueen might use the pick. What is Upton gonna do here? Fisher's gonna cause chaos here on that number 8.
Yeah, and already, you know, running in the lap traffic here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Memphis Fisher definitely got in the way of those guys, but able to keep it together, thankfully. But that's something to keep in mind. If Memphis Fisher's going to be that much off the pace, of course, he lost a lot of ground because he wrecked, but if he's going to be that much off the pace, he's going to be a factor going through this whole race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were 4 wide back there at the very back of the field, and Fisher just got done. If we get a caution, we will take a look at that, but tough play for Fisher after having a really good 600 gain 10 spots, I believe, in points inside the top 10. He's not going to be in the top 10 in points, believing here at Chicagoland, unfortunately, and that ultimately helped Derek Hamill out, because he went from 53rd, and now Hamill, he's been strong a lot of times this season, but no wins yet. This 4.7 for JT Chidori looking strong, and Transqueen, he's been probably the 2nd best on Charlie driver this season. He's not made as many. Oh, and we got a caution.
Oh no.
Oh my.
Oh boy.
No, Clifton 12, Crampton, and I believe and Abel upside down as well. I think we just have 3 flips here at Chicagoland. And 1 crash. It looks like the skid marks down the back stretch. The skid marks in 1 and 2. I don't know what the heck happened. It must have been because of Fisher right there, and unfortunately, that had 3 drivers go upside down. And for Noah Clifton, I don't think that's the McDonald's promotion that they wanted to promote here in the McDonald's wanted. Upside down for Noah Clifton. He's had a rough season, and that sums up the season for the number 45. Juan Garcia, Allison Rain on pit road, and they're gonna go in and fit stand for the 77. Elite pit stops here on that number 11. And that's about a third of the way through the fuel one, about 28 to 30 laps on fuel. So I think everyone else is going to come down pit road, and they will. And have to see what happens here. Who wins the race off pit road? Pretty interesting start, a wild start to this one, and have to see who can win the race off pit road. And contact right there with Olvera and Hamill, but should be okay for the most part. And have to see who can win the race off of pit road. I would imagine 4 tires for most of these drivers, with it being 11 laps in. And looks like that is the case. Hamill's going to gain a spot on pit road, I believe.
It's a good stop there out of the 47. And I think you'll end up restarting in the second position. Tough break there for the 22. Mitchell Collins with a slow pit stop right there.
Tough way for Mitchell Collins. He started second. Kind of fell back at the start, and now he's really going to be towards the deep part of the field. Monaco got a good stop. Trey Smith gained a few spots. And Josh Benson, the other McDonald's driver here tonight, he gains into that position as well. So things are going to sort themselves back out. Olmos is going to be the race leader. And let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the night, and what happened to Memphis Fisher here in a wild first 10-11 laps here in the McDonald's one. Well, here we go. This is what happened to Memphis Fisher. Stross teammates Brian Beal and Colin Copley. They were 4 wide. 4 wide does not work at Chicagoland. 3 wide barely works sometimes, and unfortunately, that turned Fisher out of the lead pack. He ended up going a lap down because of it. But because that happened at the end of the field, there was no caution for it. But 4 wide just doesn't work at Chicagoland. Well, this didn't cause a caution. We missed this part, but this was the second incident in that 10-lap span, and the first one caused by the slow car of Memphis Fisher. Daniel Ton got turned by Allison Rain, and then down the track went the 77, the 62, and the 7, and Noah Clifton. They all went down the racetrack, but because that was on the apron, no caution was thrown. Allison Rain got helped by Clifton to save it, and the 62 of Daniel Ton did a really good job to just stay sideways and not come up the racetrack, and that was second spin that didn't cause a caution, but eventually that caused 4 wide, 3 and 4 wide back here, and they also called with the 77 of Fisher, and then you can probably guess what happened from there. Second time in 10 laps, we saw 4 wide, and this time it was because of the slow car of Memphis Fisher, who just took out Darrington, Noah Clifton, and Allison Rain. And this was really weird. They actually faded back down to 3 wide, and then enabled the rookie turned Travis Crampton hard into the outside wall, and Garcia hit the 19, and I don't even know how to describe it. 16 upside down slid on his roof and enabled huge air for 19. Honestly, not a lot of cars were involved, and Abel ended up tumbling down the racetrack. And then Noah Clifton right here. Noah to go Travis Crampton upside down, and he hits Crampton, and Clifton gets T-bumped by Allison Rain, and that sends Clifton upside down. And Clifton goes for a wild ride up the banking here at Chicagoland. And for Crampton, he just flipped at the also is Eldora, and now Crampton has flipped here at Chicagoland. 2 races in a row for Crampton to flip upside down, and Clifton a wild ride here into the catch fence, and Richmond we saw 2 flips, and now here at Chicagoland we saw 3 flips and 1 crash, and a crazy crash and a crazy season up to this point. And a lot of stuff went down right there, but that was what that's what finally caused caution here in the McDonald's one.
Yeah, and it's just a case for disaster, and you got someone going as slow as that on the racetrack, and Travis Crampton. Yeah, 19 there got into him. Aaron Abel just sent him right into the outside wall. And then those guys come in and basically arc the brake right into it. Noah Clifton and Allison Rain, and Clifton kind of gets the worst of it right there. He's going to be a little dizzy after that one. But hopefully that was enough to take out the 77 because obviously we don't want that issue to continue on in this race.
Yeah, for Fisher, he spun out because of the 4 wide, and then he spun out the 62, and then he caused all of that mess and caused 3 flips in the process. So hopefully Fisher decides to just puck it. I know it's not a good night for him after what all went down, but for our sake, hopefully he just decides to puck it. We saw first round of pit stops here, and Owen Miles will take us back to the green here for the restart here in the McDonald's 400 at Chicagoland. Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. We will go back on that number 15 of 67 after a chaotic start with the 77 getting spun around the 62 and spun around down the backstretch, and then 3 crazy flips in turn 1 and 2. And it will be Owen Miles leading us back to the green. Jordan Stout, the point leader, ended up having a problem. He's on pit road, and I don't know what for, but Jordan Stout, the point leader, is going to be a lap down now here at Chicagoland. Unfortunately, Fisher's still out there on the racetrack. So I'm not happy about that. Crampton, Clifton, April, and Garcia all are out from that first crash. But that's big. The point leader, Jordan Stout, is on pit road, a lap down. He has a 40-plus point lead, so he's not going to lose the point lead. But if things work out not in his favor, and if Hamill gets a good one, then we could have a battle for the points lead leaving Chicagoland. But it'll be Miles, Hamill, Upton, Green, and Lovell, the top 5. Hopefully we have a long win for like 1 and the Connell restart back winning on that 15 of 67 in the McDonald's 400.
Owen Miles definitely appears to be a pretty strong driver here. He got a really good jump there on that restart compared to everybody else.
A fantastic restart from Owen Miles and a fantastic restart from Eric Monaco. 3 right out of the box, and he's going to go from, I believe, 6th to 4th here, and he's going to push Upton to get past Dale Campbell. What a restart from Eric Monaco in that number 3 machine. And he might make it 3 right for 2nd. No, he's going to stay behind him. Almost blocked O'Vale right there and didn't quite work out. And now, I think 2 of the strongest drivers this season, Upton and Hinton. Dale Campbell battle for 2nd. But Owen Miles, like you said, looking awfully strong early on here, having clean air in that number 11 Toyota.
They're going to go ahead and clear the 47 of Derek Hamill pretty easily right there, and Upton might have a shot at Owen Miles for this race lead, but Miles has led every lap so far in this race. He's done an excellent job so far in that 11 machine, and as long as he can stay up front, gonna have a pretty good chance of winning this race. You know, doesn't want to get stuck behind all the 3 wide going on midway through the pack, but man, those top 4 kind of pulling away right there. I think that's the number 3 machine now up to the 4th position. Eric Monaco, great run for him, and there we go, Upton for the race lead.
Racing back to the line, a 2nd caution of the night, and it will be Scott Upton barely winning the race back to the line, and unfortunately a 2nd caution already. And this time it's going to take out Allison Rain. Mitchell Collins is still a 2nd. Joe Witkowski, John Andrews. Oh man, I think something else happened with Fisher, and he's going to be done now. Eli Bright, Jordan Stout might have had something to say about it. 2nd caution of the night already, but hopefully that might have taken out the 77 of Memphis Fisher though. And now, are these guys gonna pit here? Most of them are
Some
not.
of them are. Bit of strategy play here out of Angel Olvera in the 1. Might see a couple guys try it and, you know, pull a little strategy. It could work into their favor, but usually doesn't, especially right after a restart like that.
And I think timing and scoring is a bit jumbled up. And some guys were wanting to come down pit road, and I don't know what's going on. They were all 3 and 4 wide. Mostly 3 wide wasn't bad, so I think timing and scoring is just trying to figure themselves out, along with some drivers coming down pit road. Hopefully these guys settled itself here. I don't know what they're doing. Hopefully they get sorted out here. I don't know what they're doing. But we should be okay. Most of these guys stayed out here, but Upton barely won the race back to the line, edging out on Miles. Is that going to be very critical for the rest of the race? We just have to wait and see. But second caution our way. But hopefully this might be the last, with still Memphis Fisher being out of the way in this one. Let's see what happens to cause second caution of the night in the McDonald's 400. Well, Chicagoland Speedway is a very crazy racetrack, and we are seeing it here in the first 20 laps. Mitchell Collins, I don't know what he was doing. I think he's mad that he was in the middle of the field, and they were just double filing. Collins was just not even there on Witkowski, and Collins turned Witkowski down the racetrack. And good job for Witkowski of saving it, but Witkowski just came back up the racetrack right into Mitchell Collins, and nowhere to go for Eli Bright and John Andrews. And hard shot for all four of those drivers in turn 1 and 2. And once again, not really a lot of drivers involved, only 4 of them in this initial incident. But then, in came the Spine Motorsports drivers, Memphis Fisher and Allison Wayne, that were off the pace. And you can probably guess what happened here. They came down the racetrack, trying to avoid on the apron. And Eli Bright was trying to get turned around and into Eli Bright upside down, and Allison Wayne flips off the 77 of Fisher. And I was not expecting to say this, but add that to the flip count. We've had 5 flips and 2 crashes. And then Fisher had a terrible 20 laps and a terrible night. He goes for a wild at Chicagoland. And his night, after being involved in like 4 incidents tonight, finally comes to an abrupt end here at Chicagoland. And a wacky start. Hopefully that's the end of it. But Collins telling Witkowski caused that mess in 1 and 2.
Yeah, and 22 machine there. Mitchell Collins just gets in the Rutkowski, and that's a hard one to save, especially when you don't try to slow down. And Rutkowski comes right back up on the 43-48. It's never good when you have someone go off like that into a corner, and then Memphis Fisher takes himself out, which is probably a good thing for the field, as he caused the first accident, the first caution, I should say, and he was part of the first accident. We've had 4 accidents in this race, only 2 cautions. Hopefully that'll be it, but how about Scott Upton just nicking Owen Miles there at the end for the race back to the line?
And Scott Upton got a bonus point, and Owen Miles' first time tonight is not going to be the race leader. And I have to see if that changes everything. Upton was moving his way up the front fairly nicely, and now Upton, we have to see. I think the fastest 3 cars early on looked to be Owen Miles, Dale Camel, Scott Upton, and then sprinkling maybe Eric Monaco as well. So we just have to wait and see what happens here. Most of the fields decide to stay out. A couple of drivers decide to pit. Have to see if that strategy works out. But it will be Scott Upton leads back to the green. And let's see if he can control this race when we go back green for the McDonald's 400. Welcome back to Chicago, and we will go back green on lap 22.67. A chaotic start to say the least here in the McDonald's 400. And that's what happens sometimes here at Chicagoland. And we got a lot of people out from that one. We got Fisher, Bright, Allison Wayne, Andrews, and Witkowski all out. And then, unfortunately, under caution, we missed it. But Logan Williams and Elijah Gordon caused the stack up, and the All-Star race winner is unfortunately going to be out in this one, and he's going to finish in 30th. He's have 29 cars on track, 28 of them on the lead lap, and it will be Upton, Miles, Hamill, Monaco, Williamson up to 5th for the McDonald's number 23, Tyree Coleman, Troy Smith, Trent Swing, Ryan Dwelling, and Zachary Fitzwater. That's only maybe the 3rd or 4th time I've said that all season long. The Fitz seasons have a top 10, so good job for Fitzy. He's survived the chaos so far when he's normally in the chaos, but hopefully we can have a long green flag one here, and it would be Upton leading us back to the green on lap 22.67 in the McDonald's 400, and we are green for the restart. A great restart from All Miles, trying to shoot up to the top side, and now he's going to shoot to the inside lane. Great move from All Miles, and he might just take the race lead right back.
Yeah, and Owen Miles definitely one of the faster guys out here. If it stays green, I think the win could be between those two guys, but I'd watch out for Eric Monaco as well on the 3 machine, and you got Josh Williams in there in the 23 also coming up in the top 5, so a couple of new faces kind of making their way up here to the lead, but Owen Miles has been the dominant guy of this race, and the yellow is back out again.
Roger James in number 31 spun around off turn 4. And Brandon Beal. I don't know what's going on. This did not happen in testing.
Typical Chicagoland.
Racing back to the line though, it would be Owen Miles and Eric Monaco going up and bound for second, but Upton's gonna take it. Luckily though, we didn't have a flip this time. And luckily it looked like it was only 1 or 2 cars. Looks like it was just Brandon Beal and Roger James. The cause of that accident. Like, I promise you guys, I only had maybe 2 cautions in testing every test race. And we've had 3 in 24 laps. And now, who's gonna pay here? Oh, Miles is gonna pit from the race lead. Hamill, Williamson, and it's about 50-50 split this time on pit road.
It is definitely going to be interesting to see how the strategy affects the end of the race, but I would almost venture to say the guy that's coming down now might be a bit of an advantage in the long run, because the next time around, they're not going to have to come down the pit lane, and they can stretch a little bit longer than the few guys who have stayed out here. So, going to be interesting to see how that affects the end of the race.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we'll plan to have a long green flag at some point, right? I don't know. It's Chicagoland. We've always had crazy races to see from the JBL Cup Series, whether that be 550 or apparently 750. But it would be Upton bringing us back to the green here, with a lot of guys staying out here. And let's see what happened to Roger James and Brandon Beal off with turn number 4. Will look to be a simple crash compared to what we've seen already here tonight at Chicagoland. Well, a simple crash on what we've seen here tonight. BP Red's turn, Brandon Beal off turn number 4, and Brandon Beal got into the 31 of Roger James and sent him around. Really, the only driver with a lot of damage is Roger James right there, and that was just a bumper hook into a spin off turn number 4 right there, with Beal, Wes, and Roger James. At least no one flipped that time. The flip count is still at 5. And hopefully we can get a long green flag one going. But the way that things are going, we might not get that here tonight. But about 50-50 split. Owen Miles pitted along with about half the field, but stopped in, and about half the field stayed out. So it's gonna be interesting if what strategy plays into a factor if the stays green long enough, but it will be stopped and leads us back to the green. And let's get back to the restart here at Chicagoland. Well, we will go back green right at the get-go here on lap 28 of 67, 40 laps to go. No one is out from that crash, and it is Upton and Monaco on the restart, and hopefully with 4 laps to go we can stay green from here on out. And half the field's pitted, half the field stayed out. And back green and Monaco all over the top 10.
And now that Owen Miles is kind of deeper in the field, we'll have to see if they find their way up to the front at some point, all those guys who came down. But hopefully we can keep it green here. That's all our hopes right now. But the fewer cars that are out there on the racetrack, the cleaner, more likely it'll be throughout the race.
Yeah, for sure. We only have 27, 28 cars on track. Fitzy. Here comes Fitzy. I've not said that all season, but Fitzy's making it 3 wide a second. I'm out from Angel Rivera. He's had a terrible season. He has to post on my channel, and right when I say that, O'Vale almost made it 4 wide, but Fitzy's up to second. How about that?
Great job out of Zachary Fitzwater, and I know he's got it in him to bounce back from the bad season he's had. But great run for him right now up to the second position, and he's not been a victim of any of the incidents that have gone on today. So, it's what a good starting position can do for you here, especially on a track like this.
Yeah, Fitzy started 11 for 12, I believe, fully up front, and but Fitzy normally he gets caught up in all the matter that we've seen so far tonight, but that's not been the case. And for Fitzy to finally have a good one in a race like this, we've had a lot of chaos already. That seems about right for Fitzy's team. But Ford is 1-2 Monaco. He's bad fast in number 3 machine up to third, and meanwhile those three have broken away as we are double file for the rest of the pack. For the most part, Ryan Dewey's gonna make it 3 wide back in here with Jordan Edwards, and oh my goodness, one move from Ryan Dewey. Edwards, he won the All-Star Open, and he's gonna lose that spot from Ryan Dewey. That middle lane, whenever they are 3 wide, that middle lane is the place to be from what I've seen up to this point. And O Miles and Josh Williamson, these guys that are on 5 or 6 at push tires, they are trying to get past these guys that stay out, and Williamson and Miles are moving their way up through the field.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if they can actually get to the race lead here, because if that's the case, then they're really at an advantage because they're going to end up having the fresher tires and a little bit more fuel in this run, and then when the cycle begins, they'll be able to stay out a little bit longer. So we'll have to see what Owen Miles can do right here. Number 11 machine, you got the 18 right ahead of him there, Brandon Nelson, but Scott Upton continues to lead this field. It's been Scott Upton and Owen Miles all day, and feeling one of those two may end up going to victory lane.
It's highly possible. Upton all the way with 2 wins. Miles, he's starting to get a little bit momentum in that number 11. And he has Monaco battle for second with Monaco and Fitzy, but Fitzy gonna won the top side and he's gonna keep that second spot away. And Demiton, he came down pit road under caution. I don't know why exactly, but he's back there on the racetrack, and I think someone just Brandon Beal just blew up in the number 4 machine.
Yeah, he had the damage from the prior incident, so that's probably a result of that.
And that's unfortunate for Beal. Beal kind of like Stuart. Stuart has not been that good besides Colin Crawford and Ryan Dwayne. Fitzy's had a rough season, and Brandon Beal has had a rough season, but Dwayne and Fitzy both on the move here, and Brandon Nelson, we've not talked about him a lot this season. And it's honestly kind of like the same story for Joe Gibbs Racing, and Abel's starting to get some momentum going before tonight, and then it's been Ryan Walker with that 1 minute auto club, and other than that, Joe Gibbs Racing has competent no-show, same as Stu Haas, but they are starting to get some speed with the 18 and the 11 up front, and then I guess the satellite team with Josh Williamson, he's been strong all season long, and he's made his way up to the front. A ton of racing back from about 5th on that, but top 3 are still gone. Upton, Fitzy, and Monaco. Now Fitzy is slowly catching up with Scott.
Yeah, Zachary Fitzwater may take the race lead here in a couple of laps. He may take it right here on this lap. He's all over the back bumper of Scott Upton right here. Now we're really starting to see this race take shape. Those guys have kind of spread out throughout the field right here, and those top 3 are definitely 3 who can easily win this race, but you got to remember there's a little bit of pit strategy going on here, so watch out for Owen Miles. They're not too far behind there in that number 11 machine.
Owen Miles on 4, 5, 6 lap pusher tires, all the way up to 7 feet, flying in that number 11 machine. And we always saw how much speed that he's had when everyone was on a equal playing field. Now with having 4 or 5 lap pusher tires, he's moving his way up through the field. Now he has to get past his teammate Brandon Nelson for the 6th spot. And Owen Miles, he knows that he has to get as many spots as possible now when he still has a tire advantage, because later on in the run, tires might even out a little bit, and he won't have as big of an advantage on tires. And we went green on lap 40, so depending on how things work out, it's about 28 to 30 laps on fuel. I think it should be one stopper from here if it stays green all the way. Hopefully it does, and right now it is all up top here at Chicagoland, and Owen Miles trying to take that spot away from his teammate.
Owen Miles going to have an opportunity right here around the 18 machine. Brandon Nelson, you got Eric Monaco trying the inside. The thing is, now that we're much further into a run, tire wear is definitely coming into effect. You're going to see Owen Miles be able to make the move pretty easily, but other guys might struggle a little bit because they have that tire wear. That inside lane isn't going to work as well when the tires are worn out. So Owen Miles definitely in an advantage right now because he has those fresher tires, and he may be able to get up to the front here before the cycle of pit stops begin.
Yeah, Owen Miles definitely in the capital C as of now with those fresh tires from Monaco. He tried making back with Fitzy, but couldn't quite make it work. But Fitzy got a great 1 and 2, and now Fitzy gonna have a chance for the race to lead down the back, especially at Chicagoland. I don't think I've said this all season long. Fitzy going for the race to lead, trying to pass Upton, but Upton's gonna get a massive one up top, and Monaco is gonna come down pit road. And pit stops for the people that stay out have begun right at the start of the fuel window with 26 to go out of the line, so they are barely gonna be able to make it all the way on tires and fuel. But at the end of this thing, they're gonna be on the oldest tires, unlike Miles. He's gonna be relatively fresh tires at the end. So this is gonna be very interesting for the way pit cycles ends up being. But Upton and Fitzy gonna come down pit road, and there goes Miles, Nelson, Williamson, and others that pitted under that last caution. They're all staying out here.
So now it's really going to open up because everyone's going to be one more stop, including the one they're doing right now. So this guy's coming down. That should be it for them. They're really going to stretch it a full run to the end, and they're going to be on worn tires near the end. These guys can stretch it a little bit longer and have slightly fresher tires near the end of the race, which could come into effect. But I think these guys coming down now, they're going to be at a bit of an advantage as the 18, Brandon Nelson. It's a close one right there, and I think that's the 17, Logan Williams. No, not Logan Williams. Who was that behind him?
The 15.
15. They look very similar. It was Chris Reynolds there behind them there, so they're coming down the pit lane.
And it's going to be very interesting. And McDonald's for the first time tonight for the right way. Getting some good promotion for the McDonald's for the first person in the McDonald's money line. 45 took a while barrel. Now Williamson up one in this number 23 in second. And here comes Colin Quapley in third. Very late call right there from Wyatt Walker and Richard King. And I think this might be. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. Monaco's got an issue in the number 3. He's coming back down.
He has a tire that went down, and that's tough for Monaco. He had a shot to win this thing, and now, after he came down pit road, he has a tire go down again, so maybe they must have messed up something right there, and now Monaco is out of contention officially for this one. So Miles out front, Williamson in second, Ruiz in third, and then we got a Hornets Nest back here from 5th to let's be 10th with Ormond and Watson.
It's a good battle back in here, but all these guys still have to make a pit stop in this race, so they got to be careful when they do start coming down the pit lane. The good thing is everyone is relatively spread out now, so we hopefully don't have to worry about these guys wrecking anymore, but that pit stop is going to be the money stop for these guys, especially if this thing stays green, and these guys trying to get a bit of an advantage at this point, but those guys who already came down, they got the fresh tires, they're really gaining a lot of time now on these guys, and I think once the cycle is done, they're going to be out ahead. So Scott Upton, Zachary Fitzwater in particular, I think we're going to retake the lead once the cycle is complete here.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think if it stays green and the cycle goes all the way, Upton and Fitzy, they're a lap down, but they can make it all the way. Everyone else that's out there on track right now, they still have one more pit stop, and every lap keeps on saying a couple of draws pit, and it's gonna be interesting. Eventually, Miles and Williamson are gonna pit here, and we have to see if Fitzy and Upton and Reynolds and Nelson, if they eventually cycle back up to the lead, or if it ends up being a dogfight with everyone that's up front now and everyone that was up front earlier. And unfortunately, Monaco is out with the tires, so that whatever happened caused the tire to explode for the number 3 in Monaco. As in comes Miles, he is on pit road. Monaco suspension issue or something, but Monaco is now done for the night, and that's how heartbreaker. He had a fast car all night long, and now Williamson, the McDonald's Toyota, leading in the McDonald's 400.
Yeah, but he's not going to be leading for too much longer. He still has to make a pit stop here. I'm intrigued to see where Owen Miles comes out in relation to Scott Upton and Zachary Fitzwater here once he comes out of the pit stall with his pit stop complete. Let's see where that number 6 and the number 14 are on the racetrack. They were a lap down. There they are coming through turn number 4. I can almost imagine Owen Miles may actually get out ahead here. No, he's coming off now. This is going to be a close one. I think the 6 and the 14 are going to drive right by him, and they are. So that's a really good sign there that Upton and Fitzwater have the advantage for now. And Miles is going to be quite a ways back as well. He lost a lot of time staying out there.
He's going to have flush retardants for the last 16, 17 laps, but he has a lot of time to make up on Fitzy and Upton. Now he comes everyone else on pit road. And I think that's going to be almost everyone. Upton, not Upton, Rez is still out there on the racetrack, and so is Roger James, who was involved in a crash earlier. They're still out there on the racetrack, and I think that's the last 2. Now, everyone else has pitted besides these 2 drivers. Rez is not pitting yet. Roger James is not pitting yet. So I think it's just those 2, I believe, that are still out there.
They're hoping a caution comes out right now, because that puts them in a bit of an advantage compared to a lot of other guys.
Oh yeah, a caution would be very important for the 50 and the 31 of Rez and Roger James. Still not pitting for Rez. And Roger James is going to pit. So, last one that's not pitted yet is BBUS in the number 50, uncharted driver. And now we have a battle for the potential race lead between Upton and Fitzy, and it's going to be very interesting because for everyone that pitted earlier on that, I think 41 or something like that, they're going to have all the tires at this point. And for Fitzy, it's going to be hard for him to make the pass on Scott Upton. But for Miles and everyone that's pitting now, they will have fresher tires, and it would be easier for him to make the pass. And BBUS in its uncharted number 50 for the money team, still not pitting here at Chicagoland.
They got the whole field lapped as well, so that's something to keep in mind. If a caution just happens to come out, then I think that's what they're waiting for, and who knows, they could steal one if that occurs, but they're just not going to be able to stretch it, so that will eventually lead way to Scott Upton, Zachary Fitzwater here, which, keep an eye on this battle. Fitzwater's trying all he can to get around Upton here for this race lead.
And for Fitzy, this is the first time all of a sudden he's had a opportunity like this for a race win, and Fitzy's not gonna take this for granted. He might be really good on everyone's channels, but he's terrible on my channel. I don't know why. This man has a curse on my channel, and for once he's bound for the race win, but if he wants to get this race win, for the time being at least, he's gonna have to beat the guy that's won 2 out of the last 4 points game wins, and that is Scott Upton in the number 6.
Not too far behind these guys, the 18 and the 15. We'll have to see if they close in at all. Brandon Nelson and Chris Reynolds.
I think these guys have flusher tires than the top 2. They're 4.5 seconds behind. Owen Miles really got screwed with his strategy because he's in 12th, and he might not even get top 10 now after this is all said and done. It's been a wacky one. It has now officially cycled back out as Scott and Fitzy out front with 11 laps to go. 2 seconds back is Brandon Nelson in number 18. And then same with Chris Wilson. How about Wyatt Walker? He's in 5th, I don't know, in that number 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing. And Ryan Bryant, and he's number 6 for Chiquino. He is 2nd in points, I believe, entering this race. And with Jordan Stout having a rough night, he's currently in 23rd, so that's better than where he was. But Richard Kino most likely is going to gain some points on Jordan Stout, but Jordan Stout is going to be the point still. And Reynolds trying to take 3rd away from Nelson. Now Fitz is starting to lose some ground on Scott Upton.
Yeah, Scott Upton just has that speed and that 6 machine, and they're definitely going to be at the advantage here, I feel like, as this race goes along. Fitzwater had a shot there, just couldn't get to him. And, it's still not over yet. Fitzwater trying to work this higher line, get that momentum down the backstretch, and who knows? Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened here at Chicagoland. Heck, we've only seen 5 laps tonight. So this is not in a long shot, but I think it's going to come down to these two, Fitzy or Upton, because these guys, they lost time and they keep on losing time. Wyatt Walker made some moves, got past the 15 of Chris Reynolds, and maybe Walker has something, but with only 8 laps to go, it might come down to Fitzy and Upton for this race victory, and Fitzy's not out of it. Fitzy is trying all he can to get around the 6th of Upton, but at the line, 7 laps to go in the McDonald's 400.
It's just about that same distance behind him here. He's not really gaining much of an advantage, and that's the advantage that this track has for just being single file for the driver who's out front. And you kind of stay in that middle lane, and you really don't give much of an option to the guy behind you to really make a move on you. And Scott Upton's really utilizing that middle lane to their advantage, and I think they're probably going to get this race victory. But we still have 6 laps to go here.
6 laps to go, and we've seen it this season. It's not until the checker flag falls, and especially after what happened in the All-Stories. Strong has had the All-Stories win 1 until he blew up on the caution on the very last lap. That caused Logan Williams to win the All-Stories. So, who knows, anything can happen, but for Scopton, and especially RFK Racing as a whole, they've won 3 out of the last 5 races. Scopton has won 2 out of the last 4 point-paying races. And in 5 laps, Scopton might just get a still win in the last 5 points paying races for the 6 machine. And he is pulling away from Fitzy now here at Chicago.
Yeah, Fitzwater's trying to close back in here, but I just don't think he's going to have enough time. Meanwhile, though, Wyatt Walker's up to 3rd now. He's been really moving his way through the field here. He's got, 2.5 seconds behind the race leader at this point? He keeps on getting smaller, so, I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch up to the leaders, but, still a great run for that 20 machine. He may be the fastest car out there right now.
Wyatt Walker, he has the 4th fastest time here tonight, so Wyatt Walker kind of quiet won tonight, quietly up to 3rd, but this is by far his best one ever since he won at Auto Club at race 2 on the season. So great one from Wyatt Walker here at Chicagoland. 3 laps to go, and it is really looking good for Upton. Fitzy trying all he can. He gained a little bit last time by, and maybe that's what Fitzy was doing, trying to cool off his tires, build up that momentum at maybe the last lap pass. But Fitzy, he's not been up here all season long. He's trying all he can. But he has 2 laps to go here in the McDonald's one in Upton, and RFK might have this one locked up.
They're looking pretty strong right now, and they've been strong all race long. Been up front this entire race, essentially, so it's a very good chance that that number 6 machine's probably going to get the win, but Fitzwater's closing in just a little bit. But Upton's so much better through 3 and 4, and that's where they're getting the advantage here.
White flag in the McDonald's corner. It's been a while one, had a 3 early cautions, but we've been clean and green for 40 laps to end this thing. Stopped and 1 at Richmond, 1 at Talladega, and this is by far the most dominating performance that this number 6 RFK team have had all season long. Richmond, they stole it late. Talladega, they stole it late, but a dominating performance for RFK and Scopton. Upton's going to get win number 3 on the season, and RFK is going to get win number 4 as a whole. Scopton wins the McDonald's 100. And Scopton, he struggled before Richmond. Ever since Richmond, he's won 3 out of the last 5 points paying races. And RFK has won 4 out of the last 6 races, including the All-Star race. Ford's been strong all season, but I think the strongest strongest team for Ford might just be RFK at this moment in time. And the strongest car in the JBL Cup Series is Scott Upton at the time being, and just as like Dale got spun off the turn 4 on the cooldown lap, but Scott Upton dominating performance, and they are looking like a real championship threat. And so this season they didn't look like that way, but Upton, third win on the season, most wins out of anyone. I have to see what Upton can do. Upton wins Fitzy a really close second, by far his best one all season long. Well deserved finally for Fitzwater after his terrible season, multiple crashes that he's been a part of. He blown up twice to start the season. Fantastic one for Fitz. You cannot be disappointed about that one. Wyatt Walker, a great third out of nowhere. Nelson in 4th. Reynolds in 5th. Edwards in 6th. Williamson in 7th. Miles in 8th. Copley in 9th. Late out of nowhere in that spot. And then in 10th is Ryan Duwani. So, really, 3 Suarez cars in the top 10. And then we got 3 Jokers racing cars in the top 10. And if you want to count Williamson, then we got 4 Toyotas in the top 10. So, really, it was a lot of Toyotas, and especially a lot of JGL, and a lot of Fords, and especially a lot of Suarez Fords here tonight up front. And the first Chevy looks to be all the way back in 16th from the looks of it. So it was all Toyota and Ford tonight, as we know. BB was finished 12th, so that's the highest Chevy. The highest full-time Chevy was Watson in 16th. So, just all Ford and Toyota. King Hunter with a good points one. Watson with a solid points one. Hamill kind of fell off in the middle of the one. Jordan Stout got 22nd, and King Hunter gets 11th. So I think King Hunter's only going to gain maybe 10, 11 points on Jordan Stout. Jordan Stout, not good tonight, but he salvaged and still have a pretty good point lead, leaving him and going into Michigan. That was a wild one to say the least, really caution, but then we had a 40-lap green flag one to the end with some strategy, and stopped in that number 16, third win on the season.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting race, no doubt about it. I'm glad it went green near the end there, and we had a nice race at the finish, but Scott Upton and Zachary Fitzwater had the best strategy there at the end, and Scott Upton gets the race victory here at Chicagoland. Great win for him, and to see how that translates later on in the season for the whole field, because a lot of guys got knocked out there in that race, and that could definitely affect the points, especially considering did Jordan Stout get caught up in that or not?
I don't think so. Stout got 22nd. He was
okay, but still not a good run for him. So the points are going to shake up a little bit after this one.
Yeah, Abel was, I think, around 10th place, something like that. So it's gonna fall off. Cranston's gonna drop a little bit. Fisher was in 8th, so it's going to drop a little bit. White was working his way up. The points is going to fall. Andrews, he was 28th, the points is going to fall a little bit more. Allison Lane is going to fall. Logan Williams was inside the top 10, and he's going to drop back. And a lot of good drivers that were inside the top 10 or around the top 10 got caught up and crashed this year tonight. 5 flips, 3 cautions. So many flips this season, but once these guys got split out, we saw some interesting strategy with half the field staying out and half the field sitting under that third and final caution. And it made it for a interesting one here with tires and stuff, but Scott Upton, third win on the season, looking like a real championship favorite here in the JBL Cup Series. Scott Upton wins. Next time out, we will be at Michigan for the Ally Tournament, and that's gonna be an interesting one. Second and final 2-mile race right on the season, and maybe White Walker can sweep the 2-mile race race. We just have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for Alex for joining me up here in the booth. A wild one at Chicagoland always is. Scott Upton wins the McDonald's Women. Up next is the points and the rookie of the year points, and until next time out at Michigan, we will see you guys then. Bye!